Welcome to Inside the Vault. Today we're here with Nick Barisheff, President and CEO of Bullion Management Group. Nick, on Monday, March 16th, the U.S. reached the debt ceiling of $18 trillion, and the ceiling is likely to be raised again sometime between October and December of this year. What are your thoughts on this constantly increasing level of debt?
Well, I think the first step is important to put into context what 18 trillion means, because most of us probably couldn't tell us how many zeros that represents. But if you look at it on a per citizen basis, it's about 56,000 for every man, woman, and child in the States. However, what's more important, since somebody has to pay back this debt, the number comes out to 154,000 per taxpayer. So in a typical family where the husband and wife both work, that's about 300,000. And that's generally more than your mortgage payment. The bigger problem comes in, though, which isn't talked about, is that the unfunded liabilities, Social Security, Medicare, all the other things, adds another 95 trillion. So if the U.S. government had to do its accounting the way public companies would have to do, the actual liability is about 811,000 per taxpayer, or 1.6 million per family. So does anybody think that is ever going to get paid off? Not likely. Now here's the problem, because at the same time we have the U.S. Federal Reserve talking about raising interest rates, and there's all this speculation back and forth. Right now the interest rates are at the lowest level ever. Now the mean interest rate, over the years is about 5%. So if the Fed gets up to the point where they get back to just the typical, not the highs like in 1980 when interest rates went to 18%, just the mean of 5%. So again, if the interest rates go to 5% at 18 trillion, that's about $180 billion. Now, by the end of the Obama administration, most people are speculating that the debt will be at 20 trillion. And there's no chance that the U.S. is going to default, that Congress is going to increase the debt limit yet again with no reduction in spending. But where the problem lies is that if you end up with 1 trillion in interest payments alone, when the tax revenues are 3 trillion, you can see there's not enough left for all the other things that are spent on. So the Fed will have to print more and more money in ever increasing amounts. That's when you get into hyperinflation. There is no other choice. The debt isn't going to be paid off. The debt ceilings are going to be raised, and eventually it'll get out of control because the interest rates will tend to move up. So when that happens and you get hyperinflation, then gold is going to be the obvious beneficiary and choice, and that's just a question of time. So there's an old Russian saying, is that when it happens, you will know that it is true, but by then it'll be too late. So the time to buy the gold is today, while price is low, and this isn't obvious to everyone.